East High School in Salt Lake City is best known for being the filming location of High School Musical. But behind the Hollywood spotlight, students whisper about something far darker, something that lingers in its old auditorium. For decades, stage crew students have claimed that once rehearsals ended and the school was locked for the night, the auditorium would come alive. The heavy curtains would sway as though caught in a breeze, even when the air was completely still. Lights would suddenly flash on in patterns, one after another, as if someone was walking across the control board. One student, a stagehand, once reported staying late to pack equipment. As they worked under the dim glow of a single spotlight, they heard the distinct creak of footsteps on the stage above them. But when they looked up, no one was there. Terrified, they scanned the balcony, and that's when they saw her, a pale woman in an old-fashioned Victorian dress, just standing there, watching. When a student screamed and blinked, she was gone. Staff quietly admit that they avoid the auditorium at night, and many believe the ghost is a former actress who died tragically during a performance decades earlier. Whether it's an urban legend or not, students swear, once you've been alone in that auditorium, you never forget the feeling of being watched. In the Philippines, a provincial high school gained a dark reputation in the early 2000s after a chilling incident inside the girls' bathroom. One morning, students noticed that a stall had been locked for an unusually long time. When teachers and janitors forced the door open, they discovered the lifeless body of a student inside. The most disturbing part? The door was locked from the inside, and the key had been found in her pocket. After her death, strange things began to happen. Students who stayed late into the evening claimed to hear quiet sobbing echoing from the bathroom. Janitors reported toilets flushing on their own, and mirrors fogging up with what looked like handprints smeared in blood. The most horrifying detail came from two girls who claimed they saw her reflection standing behind them in the mirror, even though they were alone in the bathroom. Eventually, the school shut the bathroom down entirely, sealing it off with metal sheets. Even now, former students refuse to walk near that part of the building after dark. In the 1990s, a Mexican high school was shaken by the sudden death of one of its students. He had fallen from the school's rooftop in a tragic accident. His classmates mourned him, but just a week later, something eerie happened. During morning attendance, the teacher called his name out of habit. To everyone's shock, someone clearly answered, "Present." Several students swore it was his exact voice. The teacher froze, chalk in hand, before nervously moving on with the roll call. But that wasn't the last time it happened. For weeks afterward, the same thing occurred. Students sitting near his old desk even claimed they could still see him sitting there out of the corner of their eyes, hunched over his notebook the way he always used to sit. One girl reported that she turned her head and saw him fully seated in his chair, only for him to vanish when she blinked. Eventually, the school decided to move the class to another room entirely. To this day, former students swear his spirit never left. Some believe he didn't even realize he was dead, that he just kept showing up for class like nothing had happened. In the 1980s, a Midwestern American high school experienced one of the strangest unexplained events in yearbook history. A girl from the senior class died tragically in a car crash just weeks before the group photo was scheduled. When the day came, her classmates lined up for the traditional shot, leaving a gap where she should have stood. Months later, When the yearbooks were printed, students flipped through the pages in horror. Standing directly behind her best friend, pale and slightly blurred, was the dead girl. Her expression was lifeless, her eyes cloudy, and she wasn't smiling. The photography company denied any possibility of tampering. They claimed she had not been present at the photo session. Teachers and administrators insisted the students were imagining things, but the photo was clear. The girl's family was devastated, but others began to whisper that she had wanted to be with her class one last time, to graduate with them, even in death. The yearbook was pulled from circulation, but copies still exist, and those who have seen it say the image feels wrong. Like she isn't just in the photo, but still looking at you. In a Japanese high school during the 1970s, one locker in the girls' changing room became infamous. Every Monday morning, students discovered it smeared with fresh blood. At first, the school thought it was a cruel prank, but the janitors who cleaned it week after week began to notice something was wrong. No matter how thoroughly it was scrubbed, the blood would always return. The school eventually removed the locker completely, replacing it with a new one. But the following Monday, the blood appeared again, this time seeping from the metal seams of the brand new locker. Rumors spread quickly. Students whispered that decades earlier, a girl had been murdered inside the changing room by another jealous classmate, and her body had been hidden near the lockers. Teachers tried to dismiss it as superstition, but even staff admitted they were unsettled. One girl who used the locker claimed she heard a faint whisper whenever she opened it. A single word, "Help." The locker was eventually welded shut, but the story lived on. Even now, former students say that when they pass the abandoned locker room, they can still smell the faint, metallic scent of blood in the air.